Generally, when you're shooting video footage, you want your shutter speed to be double that of your frame rate. So for instance, I'm shooting this in 4K 25 at the moment, and now I want my shutter speed to be 1/50. But because I'm using auto settings, I doubt the shutter speed is that. It's probably not 1/100 or 1/250 to keep me exposed, and that's how the camera generally does it. And I've had a few comments, and I have noticed a few of the bits of the footage of the Pocket 3 that it does look a little bit overexposed. Today is not too bad because it's sort of dull and overcast like it is most of the time in the UK. But we've got these filters from Freewell, and this kit is fantastic. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ND filters, and then we've got a CPL, a circularized polarizer, to take the glare off water, for instance, and then we've got ND8s and PLs, so they're basically 2 in 1, so you've got 4 of those, 8, 16, 32 and 64, and then we've got a couple of filters here, which is light pollution filter, and we've got a Black Pro Mist quarter strength filter in there as well. So these are priced at £120 for all of these, and I paid £39, nearly £40 for the Black Pro Mist filter alone from DJI. So this is stacking up to be a pretty good value kit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the video settings to manual, and I'm going to double my frame rate, and I'm going to get my shutter speed and everything how it should be to see how it looks, and we'll test the footage out and see how these look when you put them on and see what sort of difference it makes. So this is 4K 25, and then the shutter speed is 1/50th of a second. So you can see it's like blown out here. The EV is actually ±3 as well. I'm going to just set that to 0, so EV is 0 as well. So let's put one of these ND filters on. I reckon let's just try the 8 to start with. Now these are CNC aluminium machine milled. They're really good quality, but they are a lot thinner than the other DJI versions. So let's put this on there just to see how it is and test the magnets. Wow, okay. The magnets are very, very strong. So you can see straight away that I've got some details back in the clouds. It brings those highlights down and looks a lot better. Now what sort of motion blur? I can see straight away that we're seeing motion blur in my hand when I wave it, and that is the whole purpose of having ND filters on your camera, to get you that nice cinematic motion blur natural effect that sort of our eyes see. So these work really well. So you've got a couple of creative filters in here. You've got a snow mist filter, you've got a light pollution filter, and I just want to compare that to the Pro Black Mist filter that DJI do. Somebody asked me in the comments in one of my videos, what's the difference between a Black Pro Mist and a snow mist filter? And I was a bit like, I have no idea really, but looking at this now, it's obvious. Well, it is to me. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments down below. The Black Pro Mist has sort of speckles in the glass, and that's what gives it that reflective kind of look with the highlights blooming in the background. I'll put it on for you now. So you can see like the bloom in the highlights makes it bloom, and the speckles that you get in the sort of glass to give it that creative feel are like a darker material, like a black colour, hence the Black Pro Mist. In the snow mist, they are white as far as I can tell, so I'm guessing it's going to give it a slightly different effect. So let's change it over to the snow mist filter from Freewell now. So that's the snow mist filter, and I'll put them side by side to sort of compare, and you can see what it looks like. To me, it's noticeably stronger. This is a quarter strength one. I do believe this is quarter strength as well, so maybe the snow mist just gives it more of a glistening highlight bloom in the lights. So maybe the snow mist, if you're going for more of a creative sort of dreamy look, might be the one to go for. And if you're going for a more slightly subtle cinematic look, then the Black Pro Mist might be the one to go for. So that's the difference between the two, and the snow mist filter is in the Freewell Mega Pack that you get. So that's it's a bit of a bargain. It looks pretty good from what I can tell on the screen. It looks very nice. Let's just put the light pollution filter on there to see what kind of difference that makes and see what it looks like. So it probably reduces the highlights, if anything, and the bloom in the light. So let's put it on. Yeah, it gives it changes the tone definitely to a very, like a cooler colour, and it definitely reduces maybe the brightness of the lights. So that makes sense being a light pollution filter. So if you want to reduce the effect of the lights in your picture, then this would be a good option as well. That's in the Freewell Mega Pack as well, so you get that as well to play around with and see what kind of effects you can get with it. So I must say, there is one thing about the Freewell filters that is a downside to me, and Well, it's not so much a downside about the Freewell filters in particular, it's just a downside to the design of the Pocket 3 and the way the filters have to go on there magnetically. They're very difficult to get off because they're so thin and very tiny. When you take them off, they are hard to get off in the first place, and then you tend to get fingerprints on them. You have to clean them to reapply them. The magnets are very strong, so that is one positive, but they are not the easiest thing to sort of maneuver. They're quite tiny and you won't be able to do it with gloves on. You have to take your gloves off to put them on and stuff, so a little bit awkward, a little bit sort of fiddly to use, and that is probably one of the downsides of using something like the Pocket 3 as regards to something like an action camera. But you know, that's a small price to pay. You do get pretty good image quality, and I haven't seen any sort of vignetting or colorization to the filters or any sort of dodgy artifacts in the footage. I think it looks pretty good. This is just standard, by the way. This is the default mode, but yeah, as far as I've seen, as far as I can tell, then they're pretty good quality filters. And if you want to use that video rule, that shutter speed rule for video, then they're a must-have accessory.